Now, the next chapter which we are going to revise is the chapter of assessments. Everyone over here, what do you mean by assessment? Baba, first of all, this chapter which is there is a C graded chapter. However, sometimes they go ahead and ask a small question. So let's go ahead and do it quickly. Sir, what do you mean by assessment? Assessment means, sir, determination of the dutiability of any goods, whether the goods which I have imported are dutiable or not, the amount of duty which I have to pay, the amount of tax, cess, or any other sum so payable if under this act, means the Custom Act or the Custom Tariff Act or any other law for the time being in force. So assessment means determining the dutiability, the tax which is payable, the duty which is payable, and when you are going and determining the tax, the duties, etc., what are the things you go ahead and see? With reference to, you should go ahead and see the tariff classification, because if you go ahead and classify it correctly, the correct rate of duty will be applicable. So you have to go ahead and make a reference to tariff classification, value, is there any exemption or concession with regards to your goods. You have to go ahead and refer to the quantity, weight, volume, measurement, or any other specific. You have to go ahead and see the origin. Why, sir? Because if the goods have originated from a favored nation, then you can go ahead and get preferential rate of duty if you have the certificate of origin, or any other specific factor shall also be referred by you, and it includes self-assessment, reassessment, provisional assessment, or any other assessment where the duty is nil, in which the duty assessed is nil. So this is the definition of assessment. They can go ahead and ask you a small question. Write a short note on assessment. Now let's go ahead and understand self-assessment. What do you mean by self-assessment? So you go ahead and assess the duty. You go ahead and assess the duty. You make the payment. Basically, when you are filing the bill of entry, make the payment. Now you will go to the custom department. The officer will go ahead and verify all the documents. If he finds everything okay, he will go ahead and give you a, in case of export, let export order. In case of import, he will go ahead and give you a clearance order. Take your goods and go home. But sir, if he finds any doubt, he will go ahead and tell me, sir, give me additional document. You give him additional document. Then if he finds it okay, okay. Otherwise, he will go ahead and do reassessment. So self-assessment. Let's understand self-assessment and reassessment. Importer or exporter entering the goods under section number 46, which is bill of entry or shipping bill, shall self-assess the duty. Once he goes ahead and does the self-assessment, proper officer will go ahead and do the verification. If proper officer has any doubt, then he can go ahead and examine the goods, or he can go ahead and test the goods also. Always remember, examination or testing basically happens on the basis of risk evaluation. Okay, sir. Now, once you have gone ahead and filed your bill of entry, you have gone ahead and filed all your document. Along with that, you have gone ahead and done the self-assessment. Now, if the PO has any doubt, PO may require importer or exporter to produce additional document or information. But if he doesn't have any doubt, then he will not ask for any additional document. But if he is asking for additional document, he will take that additional document and do the verification. If he does the verification and he has found everything is correct, then he will give you a clearance order. In case of import, he will give you a clearance order. In case of export, that is also a clearance order, but we also call it let export order. Now, sir, on verification, if he found that self-assessment is not done correctly, then he will go ahead and do the reassessment. Reassessment shall be done by the proper officer. He will tell you, I have assessed the duty, pay the differential duty. Now, if you go ahead and accept the reassessment, pay the differential duty, then chapter close. He will go ahead and not give you any reassessment order, because you have gone ahead and paid the duty. He will just issue a clearance order. Either import ka case mein clearance order or export ka case mein let export order. However, if you go ahead and disagree with the reassessment he has done, then he will go ahead and pass the reassessment order within 15 days of the bill of entry or shipping bill. Always remember, reassessment order will be a speaking order. Now, if you want to go against the reassessment order, you can go ahead and file an appeal. Okay, sir. They can go ahead and ask you exam a question. Write a note on self-assessment. They can go ahead and ask you a question. Write a note on assessment. Okay, sir. If they ask you to write a note on assessment, write this 3 lines. If they go ahead and tell you write a note on self-assessment, you can go ahead and write the complete thing. Next, sir, what do you mean by provisional assessment? Before we go there, we have to go there. We have to always understand provisional assessment has to be read with custom finalization of provisional assessment Regulation 2018, for which I've gone ahead and drawn a chart. Very important is to always remember what are the situations when provisional assessment can happen. There are four situations when you can go ahead and where provisional assessment can be done. Number one, you are importer or exporter and you are unable to make self-assessment. If you are unable to make self-assessment, and then you can go ahead and request the proper officer, sir, I am not able to find out what is the duty on import or export, what is the duty, can you please go ahead and do the provisional assessment. Then he will go ahead and do the provisional assessment, or proper officer deems it necessary to subject any goods to any chemical or other testing. For an example, you imported some goods, you are going ahead and telling, sir, these goods are this chemical, but proper officer has a doubt, then he can go ahead and get a chemical testing, etc. done. Now, pending the chemical test report or pending any other report, you can go ahead and tell him, sir, please go ahead and clear my goods temporarily on provisional basis, and then he will do a provisional assessment. Sir, importer exporter produced all the documents or information, but proper officer deems it necessary to make further inquiry. You have given all the document, you have gone ahead and given all the document, you have gone ahead and given all the information, but proper officer is telling, I want to go ahead and do further inquiry, I want some additional document. In that scenario, you can say, sir, please go ahead and clear my goods temporarily, you do your investigation, or you want to go ahead and take additional document, but temporarily clear my goods provisionally. Then, sir, necessary document or information are not given. If you don't give necessary document and information and PO deems it necessary to do further inquiry, then provisionally he will clear the goods pending the inquiry or investigation, and later he will go ahead and do the finalization of assessment. Everyone over here. So, sir, where provisional assessment was ordered by the proper officer for the reason that necessary document or information was not furnished by you, or proper officer requires importer or exporter to produce additional document or information, then in that scenario, always remember, in these two scenario, first of all, you can go ahead and tell him, sir, please give me a provisional, please do the provisional assessment. He will go ahead and give you a provisional assessment order and then tell you what is the additional document he required. Within 15 days, PO shall inform the specific details or of information or document to be produced. Now you will get 15 days ka time. You have to go ahead and make that documents or information available to him, because temporarily he has gone ahead and done the provisional assessment. Now, if information or document made available, very good, he will finalize the assessment. But if not made available, then extension can be done on his own by the proper officer on request by you. Okay? Now, information or document has been made available within the 3 months time. Very good. Then they will go ahead and finalize the assessment. But if you don't do that, then additional commissioner or joint commissioner can further extend the time limit by 3 months. Sir, information or document made available, then finalization of assessment will happen. Otherwise, they will go ahead and now the extension can be done by whom, sir? The extension can be done by the commissioner. Okay, sir. Now, commissioner went ahead and extended the time limit. Now, commissioner can extend the time limit as he deems fit. Within that time limit, you can go ahead and submit the document. Once you submit the document, you can intimate or inform the proper officer. Once you give the intimation, within the next 2 months, PO shall go ahead and finalize the assessment. Always remember, once you give the document and inform the proper officer, whenever you have given the document and you have informed the proper officer, that is within the time limit, then they will go ahead and finalize the assessment within 2 months. If they can't go ahead and finalize the assessment within 2 months, 3 months ka extension can be given to the proper officer by the commissioner. Once they go ahead and finalize the assessment, if on finalization, if goods were cleared for home consumption or for export, provisional assessment was greater than final assessment, then excess will be refunded. If provisional assessment was less than the final assessment, then you will have to go ahead and pay the shortfall. Sir, if the goods were warehoused, then final assessment is greater than provisional assessment, then whatever the bond differential amount के लिए means the differential duty के लिए 3 times of amount of differential duty का bond you have to give extra. Okay, sir, point is clear. Now, everyone over here, listen to me very carefully. For an example, provisional assessment was ordered by the PO for the reason that a chemical test or other test report is required, or an inquiry or investigation report is required. Now, in this scenario, he will go ahead and do the provisional assessment. Now, proper officer will wait for the inquiry report, investigation report or test report. Once the test report is received, Once the test report or inquiry or verification report is received, then proper officer within the next 2 months will go ahead and finalize the assessment. Okay, sir. Now, if we could not finalize within 2 months, then 3 month extension can be done by the commissioner and final assessment order will be passed. If on finalization, same thing over here. In case of goods which were cleared for home consumption or for export, provisional assessment was greater than final assessment, then Baba, you will be refunded the duty, the extra duty which was there, and provisional assessment was less than the final assessment, then shortfall, you have to go ahead and pay. Okay, sir. Sir, in case of warehouse goods, differential duty ka 3 times of amount of bond you will have to go ahead and give. Now, always remember one thing, execute a bond means whenever the provisional assessment is done, provisional assessment ke time, always the officer will go ahead and ask you for a bond. So it says, what will the bond say? Bond is to undertaking to pay demand, undertaking to pay on demand the differential. Basically, when the finalization will be done, whatever the differential duty deficiency is there, for that they will take a bond and they will go ahead and also take a security as prescribed. Means proper officer will go ahead and tell you how much security he wants for the payment of the differential at the time of finalization. Security is always a bank guarantee or a cash deposit as convenient. Okay, sir, point is clear. Now, this is something which is very important. Always remember one thing, interest on finalization. In case of shortfall, whenever the provisional duty is finalized, means provisional assessment order, final assessment order came and you have to pay any extra amount. So, for an example, in the month of January, 15th of Jan, provisional assessment order was passed, and here 15th of February they have gone ahead and passed a final assessment order. Always remember, you have to pay interest from the first day of the month in which, if there is a final assessment is greater than provisional assessment, you will have to pay, along with interest at the rate 15% from the 1st of the January. Basically, from the first day of the month, you will have to go ahead and pay interest till the date of payment. See everyone, pay interest at the rate 15% from the first day of the month of provisional assessment till the date of payment. Final example, final assessment here happened here and you made the payment over here, then you have to pay the interest from the first day of the month in which provisional assessment was done till the date of payment of the duty. Means the differential duty has to be paid along with interest at the rate of 15%. Sir, if I am given a refund, in case of excess, refund within 3 months will be given to you. If refund is not given within 3 months from the date of assessment of duty, finally, means final assessment came here, final assessment was less than provisional assessment, you will be given a refund. But sir, always remember, from the date of final assessment, within 3 months they will give you a refund, then there is no interest. If they don't give you the money within 3 months, then they will go ahead and give you interest at the rate 6%. Once the 3 month gets over, so finalization happened over here, 3 months got over here. Once the 3 month gets over, after that interest will start till the date of refund at the rate 6%. They will give you the interest. Okay, sir, point is clear over here. Now, sir, if any importer or exporter or his authorized representative or custom broker contravenes any of the provisions of this regulation, always remember there shall be a penalty up to 50,000 rupees. Okay, sir. Now, there is one more point which goes ahead and says unjust enrichment is not applicable. Basically, situation where the amount of duty and interest will be refunded under section number 18 shall be paid to the importer or exporter instead of being credited to the consumer welfare fund. Remember always, custom duty is an indirect tax, and whenever they go ahead and give you a refund, they will always go ahead and put the refund in the consumer welfare fund. However, in this scenario, the refund shall be given to you. Number one, if the if the amount relates to duty and interest paid by importer or exporter, and he has not gone ahead and passed on the burden, then the refund will be given to him. It will not be put in the consumer welfare fund. Number two, duty and interest paid by buyer. I went ahead and I'm the importer exporter. I sold it to the buyer. Buyer did not go ahead and pass on the burden. Then the refund shall be given to the buyer and it will not be put in consumer welfare fund. Duty and interest on import by individual. I imported a car for my personal use, paid the duty. Now in this scenario, if there is any refund, that will be given to me and they will not go ahead and put in the consumer welfare fund. Export duty ka refund is also given to me. Duty drawback, always refund is given to me only. It will never be put in consumer welfare Fine. Next, the final faceless assessment. This is a new concept which is there. What do you mean by faceless? Faceless means virtual assessment. Basically, you have gone ahead and imported your goods over here at the custom port. Might be this is the Mumbai port. Now the goods have come supposingly over here at the Mumbai port. If you go to the Mumbai port, now, this officer, custom officer who is sitting over here, if he goes ahead and does the assessment, that is not faceless assessment. Government is going ahead and telling when this person and this custom officer meet, they might go ahead and talk to each other. They might go ahead and become friends. When people become friendly, there can be a loss to the department, and hence government went ahead and told in order to safeguard the revenue loss which might happen to the government so that these people don't become friends. What government went ahead and did, when you went ahead and filed your bill of entry, your bill of entry will be allocated to might be an officer who is sitting at some other port, and virtually the assessment will be done. That is known as faceless assessment, so that the loss to the revenue is not there. Okay, sir. It's a major custom reform where a bill of entry that is identified for scrutiny. Basically, your bill of entry is also known as your bill of entry which is identified for scrutiny is also known as non-facilitated bill of entry, which is basically non-facilitated bill of entry because this was not cleared and they have gone ahead and picked it up for scrutiny. Not cleared means, sir, basically whenever you go ahead and file your bill of entry, it is nowadays automatically cleared based on the risk evaluation. So if your bill of entry was not cleared based on risk evaluation, they are telling, sir, we have to pick it up for scrutiny, then it's a non-facilitated bill of entry. So, sir, it says it's a major custom reform where a bill of entry that is identified for scrutiny is assigned to an assessing officer who is physically located at a custom station which is not the port of import in the custom automated system. My port of import is the Mumbai port, but my bill of entry will be allotted to this officer and virtual assessment will happen. It separates assessment process from the physical location of the port of import using a technological platform. Basically, computer is used. Faceless assessment also refers to virtual assessment, or anonymized assessment means me and the officer who is doing the assessment are not known to each other. And how is it virtual? By using a technological platform to separate the custom assessment process from the physical location of the custom officer at the port of arrival. This measure will bolster efforts to ensure an objective, free, fair, and just assessment. There will be no unfair kind of assessment. It will be a free, fair, and just assessment. Now, what are the important points? They can go ahead and ask you a short note on faceless assessment. Be very careful. Now, what are the key objectives of faceless assessment? Anonymized. Anonymity means you and the person doing the assessment don't know each other. Anonymity in assessment for reduced physical interface between trade and commerce. Number two, speedy custom clearance through efficient utilization of manpower. Number three, greater uniformity of assessment across location. And number four over here is promoting sector specific functional specialization in assessment. These are some of the key objectives of faceless assessment. Number one, physical interference between you and the custom officer will not be there. And in that scenario, when you don't know each other, when you're not meeting face to face, then Baba, there are less chances of any loss to the government. Then, sir, because it's a virtual assessment, quick assessment will happen, and hence in that scenario they're telling speedy custom clearance can happen through efficient utilization of manpower. What do you mean by speedy custom clearance? Now listen, sir, I went ahead and filed a bill of entry. The bill of entry went over here and he virtually did the assessment. Now, in that scenario, he will issue the clearance order virtually only. Secondly, remember, more officers will become free now because physically officers don't have to meet people and those manpower can be used for speedy clearance. Okay, sir. Thirdly, greater uniformity of assessments will happen because all the officers now will be going ahead and acting in the same manner because there is always just and fair assessment which will be happening. Everyone will be doing fair assessments. And specialization also can happen. This person can be specialized only in clothes and all the bill of entries will be allocated to him so that sector wise specialization can be brought in assessments also. Okay, sir, got it. The next one over here is audit. They can go ahead and ask you a small question. Write a short note on audit. Everyone over here. Audit, section number 99A. Audit, section number 99A, read with Custom Audit Regulation 2018. There are two types of audits in custom. One is transaction based audit, one is premises based audit. What is transaction based audit? Transaction based audit basically means transactions are audited. Under this, what will happen? You will have to take your books of account to the department and they will audit the transactions which are there. It may be noted that a transaction-based audit may subsequently be converted into premises-based audit. Basically, you went over there and the officer feels that he should go ahead and see your goods which you have imported or which you go ahead and export. Then transaction audit can go ahead and become into premises-based audit also. Next, premises-based audit means they will come to your premises and they will do the audit. Now, this is known as audit at the premises, which is premises-based audit. The new provision on custom audit under section number 99A of the Custom Act has extended the scope of premises based audit by including other entities which are concerned with import or export. They are going ahead and telling now premises based audit may they have gone ahead and extended the scope and they have told audit can happen of other people who are concerned with import or export. For an example, sir, custodian is there. For an example, clearing and forwarding agent is there. Their audits can also happen under 99A. In premises based audit, custom would review the import and export over a given period of time and check all relevant commercial record including financial statement and contract to verify the particulars given in the goods declaration. Basically what you have declared. For an example, when goods came, you had gone ahead and declared their bottles. Might be they were thermal bottles which you had gone ahead and imported. So they will go ahead and verify what you had declared in the bill of entry and what you had actually imported. Are they the same thing? Premises based audit would enable the department to bridge the communication divide and usher into a new era of partnership with trade. Okay, sir. Now, how is the audit happening? Manner of conducting the audit. Proper officer may carry out the audit of imported goods, exported goods, or the auditee. Sir, who are the auditees whose audit can be done? Always remember, auditees means person subject to audit under this section means 99A. And sir, an auditee can be importer, exporter, a person who is a custodian like Adani Group, etc., licensee of a warehouse, or any other person concerned directly or indirectly in clearing, forwarding, stocking, carrying, selling, or purchasing of imported goods, export goods, or dutiable goods. So, sir, these are the people whose audit can happen. Always remember one thing, whenever they want to go ahead and do the audit, they will give you a 15 days prior notice if it's a premises based audit. Now, audit can happen at the place of business, at the place of business of the proper officer. Means I have to take my books of account and go to his place of business, Baba, his office basically, at the proper officer ka office, or it can happen at the premises of the auditee. Sir, my premises means my registered office, my branch office, my warehouse, my factory, basically wherever goods and books are kept, there the audit can happen. Now, whenever a premises-based audit is done, it will be done for 30 days. Within 30 days, they will go ahead and complete it. Plus, 30 days extension can be given by the jurisdictional commissioner. Always remember when the audit is going on, during the audit, number one, PO may require the auditee, PO may request the auditee to furnish document, information and records, and always you have to go ahead and furnish those. Sir, furnish those document, information and record. Sir, this accounts and record, how many years has to be preserved in customs? Sir, in customs, your accounts and records are always to be preserved for a minimum period of 5 years. Okay, sir, point is clear. PO may inspect during the audit, PO may inspect imported, exported, dutiable goods which are at your premises, or he can, if it's a transaction based audit where you are going to his office, he can go ahead and tell you, please get me some sample, I want to check. He can request samples also. Proper officer, having regards to the nature and complexity of audit, take assistance of chartered accountant, cost and work accountant or IT experts also. And auditee to provide assistance to the proper officer and the team to discharge duty and not to refuse or obstruct them. So if officer has come to your premises to do the audit, you have to go ahead and help him so that he can go ahead and complete the audit in time. Assistance has to be provided. Once the audit is completed, he will go ahead and tell you about the audit observation. PO shall inform the auditee of audit objection or finding before preparing the audit report to provide him opportunity to offer clarification with supporting document. He will give you audit observations and he'll tell you, sir, if you want, you can provide the clarification. If you want, you can go ahead and pay the taxes. Now, or duties. If audit is in agreement with the audit finding, he may make voluntary payment of duty or other sum in part or full. Once you have gone ahead and offered your explanation, part payment, full payment, whatever you have done, now proper officer will go ahead and prepare an audit report wherein he will go ahead and say what were my findings, what were the objection I have gone ahead and raised, what are the explanation this guy has gone ahead and provided. Everything will be told in the audit report. Sir, always remember, risk-based assessment will identify the person. Basically, the more riskier the person, the more fraud kind of a person he is, the more number of time audit can happen of that person, whether it is transaction-based audit or premises-based audit. Sir, if a person goes ahead and contravenes the provision of audit regulation, what is the penalty? Penalty is up to 50,000. Don't forget. In the exam, they can ask you about auditee. Who are the auditees? Auditees means person who are subject to audit under this section. It includes importer, exporter, custodian, all these people. Next. Section number 99B, just like how in GST Aadhaar authentication is there, same way in customs also they have gone ahead and launched something similar. Section number 99B, verification of identity and compliance thereof. If proper officer authorized by principal commissioner or commissioner of customs may, for the purpose of ascertaining compliance of act or law, require a person whose verification he considers necessary for protecting the interest of revenue or preventing smuggling to do. If he feels that you can do smuggling, he might go ahead and ask you for identity verification. For your identity verification, he can do Aadhaar authentication. What will he do? He will do Aadhaar authentication, comma, or he can go ahead and say, you don't have Aadhaar, then submit such other document or information as prescribed. In case no Aadhaar or the Aadhaar authentication has failed, then or other alternate and viable means may be prescribed. For an example, he can go ahead and tell you, give me your passport, or he can go ahead and ask other document if you don't have Aadhaar or your Aadhaar authentication has failed. Sir, he went ahead and told you, do the Aadhaar authentication or go ahead and provide me this document, but still you did not go ahead and make it available to him, then PO may suspend clearance of imported or exported goods, sanction of refund, he will not give you the refund. Sir, duty drawback, he will go ahead and suspend the sanctioning of duty drawback, he will not give you duty drawback. Exemption from duty will not be granted to you. Your license or registration, your import-export license which is there will be cancelled. Any other benefit which is arriving from import or export will not be given. PO will go ahead and suspend all these things. Yes, sir, we understood. But here we are done with your chapter of audit and assessment. Remember, they can go ahead and ask you a short note on assessments over here. They can go ahead and ask you a short note on self-assessment or reassessment. What are the scenarios when provisional assessment can be done? Then they can go ahead and ask about these timelines which I have told over here. They can go ahead and ask you about the interest calculation, when is unjust enrichment not applicable, or they can ask you to write a short note on faceless assessment. Audit related one question they can go ahead and ask you. They can go ahead and ask you who are the people who can be auditees, or 99B may they can ask you a short note. C graded chapter, but still a short 2 to 3 marks question can be asked, right everyone? Now, one small point over here is silent features of audit procedure. What are the silent features of audit procedure? If you see over here, I have gone ahead and put a star on what are the silent features. Number one, risk-based assessment will go ahead and identify the person whose audit is to be done. Sir, if a person goes ahead and contravenes the provision of audit regulation, penalty up to 50,000 can be charged. Always remember, advance notice of 15 days will be given. In case of premises based audit, wherever there is a star, that is the silent feature. Proper officer having regards to the nature and complexity of audit can go ahead and take the help of chartered accountant, cost accountant, or IT expert. Sir, always remember the accounts and records of a person is always to be kept for how many years? 5 years. It has to be preserved. Sir, if after the audit a person is in agreement with the audit finding, he can go ahead and make voluntary payment either in full or part, and the same shall be recorded in the audit findings. These are some of the silent features of audit procedures. Here I will go ahead and stop my chapter of assessment and audit under customs.